After game one, it leaves you wanting more. RNG and TOP. It is the match of the week for a very good reason. RNG came close, yet not close enough in game one. My name is Jake Asterix Osipenko. This is Barento Raz Muhammad. Game two, who even knows what's going to happen? Like, what a good game.
It just felt like RNG failed at one thing that they were the best at in the world once upon a time at team fighting. Like, they had a great early game, great mid-game control. Things started to slip by the wayside when they had to deal with the Rise in particular. And how they executed team fights front to back was hard. The moment they had to deal with the Urgot with Xayah, it's not the 80 carry meta just yet, or at least the crit 80 carry meta just yet. It's 9.2 still. We should still see like the same old, in particular Lucian, Kaisa picks, Ezreal a little bit more often. I think it was far too hard to actually get to the point where Xayah was dealing enough damage to the front line to justify it. Yeah,
especially since Uzi was always targeted in those fights as well, and there was just so much easy backline access. Knight had a terrific game. I probably should start with Loken, because Loken was the first influential fight around Baron, and then it kind of came towards Knight in that last Elder Dragon fight.
Yeah, the Elder Dragon fight was insane, because you got to see all members come in. It was long enough, too long and drawn out, where the mind really came in for me. So when it finally came in as, you're loving that, man, that was great. But what really rejuvenated me from that one was in the Elder Dragon fight, it felt like it was just about the slow play element of it. It had been baited a little bit. It was TOP that was the slowest to actually get to that fight. But when it came down to 2k HP, guess who flashes over the wall to make it happen? Boom. Kicked as well, so just at the last second, being able to get the kill on towards the jungle made the difference for TOP in this resulting team fight.
Just so surprised that for TOP, it just looked almost too coordinated. Remember a lot about the early game, the skirmishes of fighting, you know, not really the messiness, but the always willingness to fight. And you said they were quite paced for TOP, and that someone like Knight as well didn't have the biggest early game. They just paced towards that late game fight.
Yeah, I think the only criticism that I ever had was playing too closely to each other when they had Baron and side lanes pressure, because that invites fights, but that's probably what they wanted.
Yeah,
to be fair with how this team has been playing, they're always looking to bait in some fights, but they've always been not only incredibly talented to be able to execute the fight to its fullest, but all of these carriers actually know their roles incredibly well. And I think that even for the members that were behind, XX in particular, slowly played himself back into it, was taking the necessary camps. At first had utilized his ultimate just as pure utility to shut the lights out, but then when it finally was necessary to, like, he had enough damage to be able to pincer into the back line, he used it just for that. So I think all of the players on TOP were efficient with what their roles were, until the point where in these Baron fights, in the Elder Dragon fight that you saw, they were more than ready to pick it up.
If you're talking about utility, or rather utility, but roles in a team fight, let's maybe break down Xiaohu a little bit, because on the LeBlanc it felt a little bit underwhelming. There was a point where you're like, okay, what does Xiaohu do? Who can he find? He doesn't do anything to 369, and it's really hard to get onto Knight or to Loken.
I think his role really started to be questioned and run out once the mid-game advantage that they had was starting to fall out. They had great control red side, but then it was TOP that wasn't contesting it. They're saying, we're not going to contest you. You have a stronger skirmish fight, all of that stuff. We're going to be playing topside. And he was actually giving them so much early. That LeBlanc pick was paying off dividends. It only was when the game started to get slower paced, when the Baron wasn't really an option, or at least something that RNG were swaying off. The team got into this really weird area where items were already picked up on the side of TOP. You go into a team fight, who does LeBlanc go on? There's so much CC lockdown, and there's so many tanks. Even the Rise that you would ordinarily think would be okay, you know, look for the pick on that individual member, you should be able to be in position for a bigger fight. He has Aftershock. He has a lot of shield on top of his name, just not based off his own passive, but also in the fact that he has the Seraph's Embrace. So it was just difficult for his job once he got into Loken.
It was definitely super rough, especially since Knight just had probably, you know, a clinical game if I've ever called one. And that's why Knight is the MVP. A very well deserved MVP at that. And that final fight, I mean, 25% damage is not important here. Just look at the man.
I will say, 25% damage just goes to show that literally all of the members did damage. There were multiple threats throughout the team.
Very good point.
That's a percentage damage indication. That's not how much damage is actually coming through from him himself. So it's insane what he was able to accomplish this game on side lane pressure and side lane duty as usual. That's his style, really. But then in these major team fights, he was a highlight player. We already talked about the fact that if we're talking about the length of the game, I gave it to Kaisa, I gave it to Loken. But if we're just talking about moments that won them the series, the game that is, that was going to be Knight. So excellent performance from Knight on that one.
So Knight picks up his MVP. Loken would have been another one we would have been happy with and picking up MVP. XX worked his way into the game, but 369, that solo kill at the start of the game, the kill that followed up on Amazing J with the help of XX by the end, and I believe it was Knight or Loken who came down to the bottom lane as well.
Yeah, this is kind of crazy to see RNG have such a great early portion of the game, but then the solo kills, when 369 could just take you down like that, it's hard to you just don't lose complete hope. Like the fact that you're like, okay, we're XX is, let's say last year or the year before that as well. XX, if he loses that advantage, he's like, well, this game seems over. Like I don't have the faith in my solo laners to be able to claw back in when they don't have jungle pressure. But that's not the case here. He can be wiped out of the map. Could be like one of the typical DC solo queue games where you just don't have a jungler because he's AFK for whatever reason. But suddenly if you just have an outskill top lane or mid lane matchup, that can carry you for a few minutes. So I thought that was great to see that 369 is playing that well in his beginning points of his career.
And when you have the support of someone like XX who now has a lot more influence and has a lot more feeling towards the game as well, it's absolutely fantastic. For TOP, out team fighting RNG. Like, do you agree with that, or am I just talking baloney?
I just said, hell yeah, I said that to begin
I'm
with.
just making sure. Because to out team fight RNG.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be on something. Like, this is really hard to out team fight RNG in any composition that they build.
Yeah, I think a lot of it goes to 369. And a lot of these team fights, like we kind of mentioned his, how he did in lane. But remember, his role in particular, in comparison to the role that Sion had for his team, if someone's going front to back, you would almost always give it to Sion in being able to play out a fight for much longer. But the Gargoyle Stoneplate was there for Urgot. He was also constantly on top of Uzi early on in these team fights, so he really couldn't step up. Because think of it, there are two portions of the damage for Uzi in this fight. Not only is the initial portion, of course, because he has crit, but then there's the back end of it when he's able to reel the feathers back in. He didn't get that because he was eliminated, or at least like separated from the rest of the team so often, having to kite back away from just an Urgot. So great job from 369 on both prongs. Coming back into this one, you can see RNG, it looks like they're focused. They know what they should be doing to come back into it, because it seemed so clean in terms of how their early and mid game was being set. They just need to be able to have confidence in team fights.
And the rough thing about RNG at the moment is that if you need to sub out, if you want Caster to take a step out or maybe move towards that game 3 as a certainty or change up the style, whatever the case, you don't have MLXG for the spring season, so you got to run the same 5 unless you want to bring someone like Wink in into the AD carry, and that's definitely not what RNG want to do. Yeah,
so there are 2 experience from Tienzi and Wink. It would only be downgrades. So I would say it's a partial. I like this in terms of, I think it's a major benefit in disguise, where if someone fails and you know they're a world-class player in their own right, force them to learn that decision. I understand the benefit of having a fire lit underneath you by putting MLXG in or putting a Zatai or something in, but they are so strong already. They know where they failed, that they would be able to come in with a strategy in tow, ready to go for the next game. I expect, I mean, Karsa already had a strong game 1, to be fair.
Oh, he did.
But I would already expect for them to come in firing in what they felt were weaknesses, probably coming out of the draft. Already mentioning I don't like the Xayah pick. I think the Xayah pick is a little outdated in that one.
I think it was also rough that Ming lost his Alistar as well. In the past EDG series, Ming just had an exceptional couple of games on it. I wouldn't be concerned if RNG somehow found their way through that draft and found that Alistar once again. I mean, even the Alistar, the Kalista, which we've seen today.
You might see something where a Cassiopeia gets picked up.
Okay.
Remember in game 1, the way the draft had panned out was TOP getting so much out of the Kaisa pick because they were so confident that RNG were not going to be picking up the Cassiopeia, that they were going to forego a lot of these major, like the Urgot as well. there were so many power picks that RNG said we are fine not taking. And they paid a price in team fights for that because a lot of those picks were team fight picks.
Yeah.
So I'd expect the Cassiopeia to come up, but remember what I said. I do not expect it to be Uzi picking that up.
No.
He's not ready for it.
Especially since we're on the same sides again. TFP blue, RNG red, game 2. All right. We know exactly what was banned before. The Syndra gone, but look, the Zoe is banned with the Olaf on the first RNG
Lucian,
ban.
oh, there we go.
Okay.
Because Lucian was still up, so you'd expect it to be banned, but now Urgot is up, and we already know how strong that one was, being able to pick up a solo kill within the lane. So
we do.
I think 369, oh,
Do we?
mind games, baby.
All right.
Mind games. Say, you know what, Shahu, I could do this better. What the hell?
LeBlanc first pick.
That is when you know two teams are so good that they disregard what's meta.
Yeah.
They think they can play around what's meta. And even though I just went out just like criticizing RNG for disregarding it and how well the team fights went off, TOP is a fast-moving team. If they get the advantage RNG had, they're on Baron.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's, right now I would expect TOP to play around that a little bit better.
I love the similarities between these two teams. Similarities being in the bottom lane, that this time it is Ming who takes away the Alistar. So there's always a trade up here with each and every pick. The difference between a couple of teams. Now RNG prioritize their jungler in this first rotation. That is the Xin Zhao.
RNG is one of the few teams that'll pick their dual, or at least their AD carry on 4 or 5, rather than the first phase. Now, only reason you would do that is if you want to be able to pick something like a Vayne, something that you know a composition wouldn't punish you for. So,
yep.
Right now, the option if he wants to pick on first phase is just an Ezreal. Ezreal and Sivir if you want to pick now. Later on, you already saw a Xayah pick up for that one.
Yep.
I would like to think that the Vayne pick that's up is something he could go back to. Look at these.
Boy.
Like all of these picks you can go Vayne into.
That's right.
Except for maybe the LeBlanc, but even then there are some playmaking opportunities.
You can also run the Vayne mid into the Galio. So with the Jarvan, okie dokie.
Alright, you're saying Vayne mid, buddy, but that's a LeBlanc out there. I mean, we've been getting
yeah,
tricked
right,
by the Galio support a few times.
It's just because I'm like, never mind first pick, you know, I just see a Galio.
Yeah.
So baited into it, the false sense of security, that's what comes with the Jarvan as well.
Jarvan, Galio, while they have the LeBlanc pickup, so they have the ability to look for picks, but at the same time, a great setup for team fights. And they haven't even had their top laner outright picked here. So if I'm 369, think about the Renekton you have it as a possibility.
Yeah.
Or even just like a Rumble. If I see a Rumble in this composition, I'm loving it. But we don't have a Huni here. So Rumble is a tough one to really go through with some of these teams.
Especially since you just see, alright, well, the Rumble into this composition could be absolutely fantastic. But I like that Uzi has opted onto the Kalista Alistar for game number 2. And they're just banning away the top lane as AJ won't get to play the Sign, as RNG don't want to see it on 369.
Yeah, because we're still running through the possibility of an Urgot still being out there. And remember, Yorick is such a good pick right now too. It's within the interest of RNG to start banning these top laners because they want the priority top laner. They are fairly certain that when you're going up against TOP, it doesn't really matter what top lane picks you ban out, because if you go really anything, like 369 can go back to Jace, Kennen, like you could name the pick. But I really love Yorick, which I'm a little bit sad that RNG have ended up banning here because Yorick does well into most of them. Like a good majority of them, he has a great time.
Yeah. See if the ban comes away from TOP and they just get rid of the Urgot, or they wait and they give it over to RNG. You've gotten rid of the Rise, which Shahu definitely had the option to go into. But TOP, alright, let's find out. It's pretty important as the Vladimir is the final ban, so Urgot is still available if RNG want to pick it now.
Yeah, so they go towards the Urgot, but it gives TOP the opportunity to pick like a Jace into it. It would muddle their composition a little bit if you look straight out, right? Or even put the Jarvan topside and you can say, well, now we'll pick a Sejuani as our jungler.
Yeah.
There are so many options here. I'm liking the idea of a Jarvan top, but then it would disconnect the Jarvan and Galio composition until much later on in the game.
See what TOP prioritize here. If that Aatrox is locked in, that means it is a Jarvan top lane. Sorry, right? No, it doesn't matter. Jarvan jungle, Jarvan top. I mean, Aatrox can go jungle as well. That's the annoying thing about this meta. So many champions can be flexed through the jungle.
And either way, I would say they're both pretty poor into the Urgot.
Yep.
Urgot would be able to deal and has dealt with Aatrox in the past. Locks in the Jace, as I mentioned, much better in terms of the matchup. But looking at the composition, it's nice that they at least got the Ezreal pick there. Otherwise, I wouldn't understand where the composition is going. It's half team fight, half pick, half poke, and that's a Kali picked up for Amazing J. Actually, no, it's going to be there for Xiaohu. They're just swapping the Urgot top lane.
LeBlanc versus Akali. Let's see what gets locked in the end, because we knew it was going to be a Galio support, or at least, you know, one of us knew, as in Raz. But TOP, you look at that comp and you go, all right, we're ready to fight again. Round 2.
Yeah, that's like, if you look at any of the teams in the LPL that would pick this composition, it's Invictus Gaming. It is, give me the CSD stack. CSD at 10, CSD at 15.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be ahead because I picked myself the best lanes possible. And I want to see how well the Akali can weather the storm, because we've seen that. It's a special at Worlds. It was, you know, Caps picking up the Akali, and it was Rookie picking up LeBlanc. It was constant, I will try and pressure you early, push you away. If I'm not going to get Lissandra, it's a skill matchup to keep the Akali down.
I would consider that for Xiaohu. He should feel confident going into this matchup, though. Definitely more experience of the mid laners, but Knight just had an absolute ball by the end of that first game, and this is for RNG a must-win match. If RNG lose here, then it'll be 4-2 at the moment. Well, no, rather 3-2 at the moment. So RNG have played the least games in the LPL spring split next to V5. And TOP on the verge here of a 5-1 start at the midway point.
Yeah, and more importantly, the fact that they won't be able to see them again until playoffs.
Yep.
So, out of your destiny, if TOP continues to do well, you won't be able to face them again. And on top of that, if they continue to roll, you really can't have the discussion who is the better team until you face off again in a best-of-5 setting. TOP and RNG last year was TOP who got slaughtered in record time, but it's a completely new squad, and it's going to be up to RNG to still say, yeah, same new faces, but same situation, same stadium, we're going to get it done.
Who's the better team fighter? Who's the better laner? Who's the better mid laner? Who's the better AD carry? TOP have an answer for us. Game 2. Did not know that existed on Summoner's Rift, but I do now. Let's jump into RNG taking on TOP.
Now, warning I'm going to have for you, anybody out there, about gold value on the map. Not only is TOP essentially picking up very strong lanes across the board, but 2 Kleptomancies.
Oy.
It's the Kleptomancy user for Jason, Klepto on Ezreal. So coming into this game, you should 100% expect TOP to have an early game lead. They concocted this not only through the laning phase, they're getting these leads, but also just based off the Klepto procs, it should happen anyways.
Very easy for XX as well to get in those lanes, and with those early leads, start influencing the top side of the map and maybe look towards the bottom side as well, which will have the poke there. Aggressive stuff from TOP. That's some good early Klepto.
It really is a lot of focus right now. We'll just take a look at what he's picked himself up. Dematerializer, Boots, so he has the extra gold that he can go into the lethality. So he's going to get so much gold and also save, like he's on, you know, some trip to Walmart. Free shoes as long as he gets to that minute park. Here comes Karsa.
Ravenous Hunter Logan might have to flash here. Immediately does it. Locked on down is Ben, but won't have to burn his summon. A good gank from Karsa.
So we talked about the Klepto, but not about the Hail of Blades on Xin Zhao. It just kind of tells you exactly what he's trying to do. Get the ganks across. When he has press the attack, he's a lot slower in getting to the 3rd proc. This time around, you already saw it. He was close to being able to get the 3rd proc on Loken. Loken has to flash away, so he gets to pick up on Ben. So that's just immediate pressure that he has on the map now.
Have a look at Akali's keystones as well, because already pushed into the back of this lane. Bone plating is going to have to come in handy here.
And fleet footwork. You see fleet footwork a lot more often, especially after the nerfs that go through after 9.2. So the nerfs are not through here, but you'll certainly recognize it when it comes through. That being said, what the benefits are, it was already going to be a tough matchup. Now you have so much sustain. Not in just your Q sustain that you can spam out through the wave, but on top of it, just like being able to auto-attack the minions once it's underneath your tower. He needs to weather the storm that Knight's been pressing on him.
Torrent Shield helps with that quite a lot as well. And as soon as you get that Vampiric Scepter, which is first back usually for the Akali, that's a lot easier too, but In this matchup, we don't know. We might see a Hex Drinker nice and early, depending on Xiaohu, or maybe something like the Spectre's Cowl if you want to go super defensive. You take away from that Hex Tech Gunblade, which is the huge one-atom power spike from Xiaohu.
Ooh, he's using his Shroud just for CS. Thankfully, the chain missed out there.
Yep.
So he's going to be able to just back away and bide his time, because had the chain hit, unfortunate. Had the Shroud hit, or at least had the Shroud expired while he was still out there, then LeBlanc can take full control of the wave. It's just nice to be able to see that it pays off for Xiao.
We're speaking heavily about control. Now control at the Raptor camp. Xiaohu's just moved up.
Cue him.
Looking to have a steal. Caster's coming
Get
as
him.
well. There's the Ignite down. XX too deep. First blood RNG.
He must have thought that Xin Zhao was still on Krugs or was coming back from base. Because to be able to just go into a Raptor camp invade when Knight is not even on the map is real ballsy.
Yeah. It fits the description of TOB to a core. Let's watch
So,
positioning.
Back from LeBlanc. At the very least, say don't back yet. Like, right?
Yeah.
If you're doing this, say, hey, wait a minute, you can stay on the map for a little bit longer, can't you? And if he's saying, no, 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 I can't, then you're backing away. You're not taking away Raptors. It's just a very, it's a poor way of playing the map.
It's a very simple kill there from Xiaohu. Helped out by Castle. He's trying to help out another one top side. Only a matter of time. 369. He's suspicious.
Uh-oh.
But how suspicious is he going to be? He's going to have to burn flash here. Raz pops him back. Holds onto his summoner. Very well played.
But see how effective Karsa is early. And he has to be. We talked about the goal lead is going to be in TOP's favor. Because not only are the Klepto procs, but they also just pick themselves up all these beneficial lanes. Bottom lane is behind.
Yep.
Bottom lane is behind because of the early gank that we saw from Karsa. That put Loken behind. Then he goes and gets the kill on XX. Then he gets the gank on top lane. He has been on the map so often, and if you just look at the experience and CS difference in terms of the jungle to jungle, he's even. So right now, Karsa's been doing super well for himself.
XX is just being spotted out by some pretty mandatory vision right now from Karsa. Speaking heavily about the bottom lane. It was a bop back from Ming, and the aggression's still there.
Oh no.
It's not going to be good. XX flashes in onto Xiaohu. Response kill there for TOP.
That's the risk. You're playing that real like tightrope gameplay. When you're playing around your Shroud, you're hoping the first chain doesn't hit you. And if it does, you already saw what happens. It's really tough to be able to play around.
Pretty proud right now that we're able to watch this game, because for TOP, even with these lanes, looks like things aren't going straight forward. But what will happen from now is Knight, with that kill, that Dark Steel proc, he goes back, and that is Sork Shoes with, look at that Mana Crystal. But Raz, as we've talked about in the past, where is the control ward?
Where is it?
Sapphire Crystal that much more important.
Especially since I know that was a major issue that I had with Doonby in particular. But with TOP, with Knight, in this case, I would love for him, especially since he came back with a solo kill. You should be confident in how the laning phase is actually working out in your favor.
Oh, here, Urgot
One
ultimate
more.
is amazing, Jay. This time turning the tides
Oh!
around. Hang on, AJ.
No way!
Not good again. 369, 2 solo kills, 2 games, and now Karsa has to respond here, taking the long way out. There's no way 369 survives this. He'll do some damage onto Karsa. He'll half health him, but we go to the bottom lane. Bot back Knight has roamed in. Action everywhere. Uzi flashed on. One more hit. The tick of Corrupting Potion. Knight, that's his clone. Teleport coming in. This is amazing. Jay, messy as anything. Ben drops down. Loken almost gets flipped, but Arcane shifts away.
No
He's locked
way.
with the chain. Amazing Jay at a quarter health. Knight chasing in. Where's the distortion? Sigil of Silence. Ooh, Malice rather. Doesn't get the mark. XX comes down. Please don't die to Dragon. Thank you much. That was a lot of action.
Pretty funny that throughout all of this, somehow XX was sitting comfortably on the Infernal Dragon. It's like, I don't need to join this fight. You guys have got it. Wasn't the case. Super close to get the kill on Uzi. But now take a look at this. 369, watch out!
But he cleared the wave, Raz, so the dive is so much harder. They back away.
It's been a tightrope. I already said that about 369, but he has everyone flying out his way. It's like an episode. It's like a movie of The Matrix.
Okay.
It's like that, you know, that episode 300 of The Matrix, where just like how many people are running in his direction, and you just have to be able to find a way around it. So Amazing Jay just didn't respect the damage that Jay just said. Very simple and clean. Moment he wasn't going to get the execution off of his ultimate, he just is chased a little bit too far out.
Do we remember what 369 was on the solo kill ladder?
I certainly don't.
Well, either way, we're going to have to add 2 to whatever it was. It's the second time he's killed Amazing Jay. Now, curious to see where the gold's at, but the top lane off of that has started to experience a discrepancy. Mid lane has pretty much even into Xiaohu's favor. After getting that second kill, things go back to normal, but we'll watch this god again.
So this was beautiful because we didn't get to see how it started out, but Amazing Jay went for the all-in. I think he used his, he didn't even have to use, okay, he did use his flash, excellent. So in any world, this is perfect, but he didn't actually get to use his one passive proc to get the kill onto 369. Was so close to the threshold, but had been batted away. And at the same time, while Dragon is being started, if I'm seeing, yeah, Jarvan starts out the Dragon, but because he knew he wasn't going to be there for the fight. I think he would have been he would have been there for a potential dive.
We're jumping back to live, it doesn't end there. Knight walks up to the top lane, that's a 3-man concentrated dive.
There's a lot of dives happening.
And Loken's going to feel the experience all the same. Third kill there for Xiaohu, a kill starting to amount up for these mid laners.
Yeah, that one's slightly easier, since you can still hide under Shroud in the turret. So that's what I'm talking about. That's the juice that I do like. You just get to be able to go on anybody you appreciate. So I appreciate the top lane dive a lot more. That was harder to get across, especially on a tankier unit that Amazing Jay is. But he's been feeling the pain this game.
Yeah, it'll be much more impactful than if he was playing on that Scion. Right now, 1,000 gold behind. A replay within a replay it was before. Let's watch this one again.
So this one was simple. I mean, it really is just Xiaohu going in and outside of the turret.
I feel like that's the wrong replay. I feel like we need to see the Ergot.
Nah, I don't want to see that one.
Okay,
We've seen too many replays.
All right.
Feels like the LPL loves themselves to catch every bit of the action. And sometimes I'm okay leaving some of the action go. I'm just putting that out there.
You can always guess. 7 kills, 10 minutes. More of the games we've come to expect here in the LPL spring. Against RNG and TOP, that's what you want. Because now you got 2 mid laners who are going to be fed off this world. That's a 3-1 Akali with a 500 gold bounty and a Hextech Gunblade almost finished. Knight close to the Luden's Echo as well.
That's the thing. On their next base, both of these mid laners are going to get their primary item. Luden's Echo from Knight, and then Xiaohu is going to get his Gunblade. Like, that in and of itself is so interesting to see. And I actually favor the Gunblade pickup for Xiaohu. That's going to be all the more influential. He's going to be able to assassinate almost anybody. I'm a little bit worried about the outplay potential of the blink that Knight has. And on top of that, Loken should be able to get out of some of these situations with the flash and blink that he has for himself. So there's some outplay ability from the ultimate that the perfect execution Xiaohu has. We'll have to see how he plays.
See if Xiaohu comes to the top side of the map. More impact here. 369 who's being caught out. There's air flash there from Castle. He bops him away. Do they have the damage? Yes, they do. One more hit. Come on. Let's find it. He ults in, but they can't get it. It expires just in time.
Perfect timing, and here comes Knight and an XX.
Caster doesn't have ulti. Amazing Jay doesn't have ulti. There's a flash available, but not for Caster. He goes in. He's going to die. RNG, the top laner, forces his flash, but they get out.
No flash, no teleport. Amazing Jay is going to have to stick by this or they lose the tower.
Level 9 does have enough damage. TOP aren't going to commit to it.
Stop fighting!
Bottom lane forced out again. This Ezreal, I mean, this is a 36 CS gap to Uzi on a Kalista Alistar versus an Ezreal Galio.
And if you saw that damage, the Q damage on Uzi, you know why.
Yeah.
He doesn't have damage at this point in time. Has the Sheen, and from that point, just pure mana. So, if you're looking at how Loken's been dealing with the constant dives that has been plaguing his lane, not well is the answer.
But also for Uzi, I mean, he's almost got played as a little king, but you look at, you look at someone like Loken and with only that Sheen. I was going to make a mention of something, Raz. It's completely gone off. XX has totally abandoned the bottom lane, hasn't made a single appearance. The closest he's been this game is towards the Infernal Drake. And This time he's going to give over the Drake. It's an Ocean Drake back into the Infernal again. Some spicy elementals in game 2.
And another point of focus too is Xiaohu actually got his gunblade faster, much earlier here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be LeBlanc that needs that extra base. Maybe he might get it here. He's getting a lot of damage.
Chain in the smoke screen. XX
That's not damage at all. This is going to be so, like, RNG should be able to push them out of this one easily.
He's going to get a full charge. At least the gold goes over tonight. He was close enough. Which is what matters there. So Herald goes down without breaking the mid lane turret.
Ooh, is that enough for him to get the loot since he's basing?
Should be at this point.
Yeah, should be. 100% should be. Get it. Yeah. And he upgrades his boots as well.
The dream.
Nice.
4 stacks on the Dark Seal.
And he's got a control ward.
Peak performance mid laner. Another peak performance as turret plating falls down is 369. Moments ago, we just watched him take the top lane turret while turret plating was still alive. A Klepto Jace with 20 CS up as the Black Cleaver has a serrated Dirk. There's going to be a very severe damage going across the board from 369.
Yeah, and if you look at the gold lead too, it's actually just non-existent. It's very even, and it's mostly because of the bottom lane, how that's faring out. You already talked about the 40 CS lead that we get to see from the bottom side of the map, and it really just feels like Loken is trying his hardest to be useful. Thankfully, he has the armor that Iceborne Gauntlet provides. Here comes the fight top lane.
The rest of the map is just doing so well. Shock Blast from the acceleration gate. Here we go with the fight down bottom lane. Ben and Loken. XX is coming in as well, being flashed forward. Great pulverize here. The 3v3. We're waiting for it underneath turret. Uzi's the first to go. That's all the damage from RNG. The ultimate from Ben. Now Loken's relevant, Raz. 4 versus 1 left to go. Perfectly timed ultimates there from TOP.
They were so ready for that fight. XX lying in wait for it. Uzi was obliterated, still had the flash available, but even then, maybe he gets out. There was no way for them to win the fight.
TOP give a kill over to Loken. Now suddenly relevant. He'll get some damage down in this turret. He's not out of the woods just yet, but with the help and the push here from XX and Ben, they should be able to clean this one out.
My question was, where is Xiaohu throughout all of that? Because you need to play through mid if you are confident enough to get the dive. I don't care how far ahead you are bot lane. Number of people count. You didn't have the numbers there, and you have to figure out why. Take a look at how late they were, honestly. Akali was still stuck in the mid lane and was starting to rotate while RNG had made the decision to all-in engage on this one. So I think it was more of a decision-making of, hey, we can dive without really needing the Akali here.
I want to point out as well that for TOP, their early games just look so clean in a lot of their games. Since versing IG, this team has cleaned up a lot of its play. Very important game against RNG that we're seeing the best of TOP. The turret does go down, so RNG climbing some of that gold back. You can see TOP have taken full charge in this game too.
Ooh, misses out on that one actually. Really well played from Xiaohu to dodge out. But here's the thing, TOP, I mean, they were the first team to really scrim when like the whole Demacia Cup hype was starting up. They were in the trenches, really getting practice and coordination together alongside BSYY, and it really has paid off. Feels like even the question marks of the really fresh player, and I just mean like 369 is the real player you look to and you were worried about. Because XX, Knight, Loken, Ben have all proven on a stage or two that they are comfortable players under duress. But 369 have shown that for whatever reason, the LDL has been that for him.
And he doesn't want to go back. 2 items now on the Jace. Youmuu's Ghostblade. He's a bad, bad boy. At this point, this is just insane for TOP. Able to push the mid lane wave. You saw the burst before from Knight. RNG want to force this fight while Uzi's
get him.
They're on to XX. Fate's Call has not been used just yet.
Was able to dodge out in the headbutt pulverize. Ming is dealing with a cooldown on that one, but would have certainly hurt.
Well, Knight might be caught out. He goes back into Distortion. Just looking for burst. 2-man shield to Duran. Knock up again from Ming. Look at the butts up here. It's TOP just in the middle of it all. Ming again on this Alistar cannot be underestimated.
And it's just a flank that you were hoping for. You're right about Ming, but also the flank from Amazing J from the top side, catching TOP off guard. And so that will pay off in a tower mid lane.
RNG break it wide open. Gold back to dead even. Give a bit. 2 RNG. Infernal Drake coming up too, and that's theirs.
So many members taken surprise. Look at this. They were not ready for this. Knight picked up the taunt that was ready as well. 2 people knocked up. That was crazy to see that they were in lockdown heaven.
They could have, that was disgusting. But great chain of CC there from RNG. Pick up the Infernal. No, they don't. How did TFP get the Infernal?
Probably while we were in a replay. I'm not surprised.
Okay.
I will say though that the fact that TOP has such a squishy composition is really starting to showcase how risky this comp is.
Yeah.
Because look at even how Ben is itemizing here. It seems like he's going towards a Redemption. And that's fine. Redemption is a strong item. But it really shows that none of these members have the itemizing to walk up, take the damage other than Jarvan per se. And even then you can see how quickly he's really getting popped.
I would consider as well when that Redemption is finished from Ben that TOP will be more inclined to start forcing these fights. There's a lot of wombo there from XX at Knight. And considering second item was picked up there from Knight, I'm actually curious to see when, if we look back at Loken, he actually fully stacks. That's another tier in his inventory, by the way. But of course it's going to be okay, as long as he doesn't buy Archangel stuff.
Of course you're referring to the wonderful, it's not a bug, but it's an interaction. I'll call it a bug, but basically you can be stacking your Manamune for the entire game, but if you have your Seraph's Embrace picked up, Archangel staff picked up at the same time, that's the one that gets upgraded.
Oh, hang on.
It's a feels bad man.
Xiaohu just walked into blind. Another feels bad man moment as the heroic entrance comes in.
So close.
Perfect execution out. Knight chasing down his enemy mid laner. Ignite doesn't tick over. They jump onto Casa, who has to ulti immediately. With the True Shot Barrage coming up, they snipe him down. Uzi almost gets out from the other side. Uzi still here. The Fate's Call there too. Up against Baron. 369 still lives. Uzi's dropped eventually here. And the Jace is coming up dividends for TOP. Front to back. It's just so easy. 369 on the hunt for some fresh beef. 100% quality there with a triple.
Yeah, the rest of the members just weren't there. Really great flank from Amazing J to start. But the outset of the fight, 369 just had a great positioning on that one.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's such an easy Baron to pick up. The only one who's here to contest is the Akali.
Xiaohu knows they're at half health. Is ultimate available? No, it's not. Xiaohu gets the first. They jump on him for the last. Is it enough to stop the Baron? No. With the early smite from XX, they're low. They're dangerously low, but they will secure Baron only just for Knight. 3 members of TOP, make that 4, we'll get it.
And you can see an XX video shot right there. He is so hyped for how that one turned out, just on a dime. Taking a look at how it was all on Xiao to begin with, and he gets out so close. Knight smartly heads right back to the fight, because that's what you really need. If he's gone, if the mid laner's gone, then fine. Pick up the kill onto the Xin Zhao. And even though Amazing J had a great flank here, there was really no way for the Kalista to be coming into this fight safely. And so that's what concerned me. Down and out, and the rest of the members were just not in position. So positioning was a major issue that was just RNG on the outset trying to defend. And take a look at this shot. This was legitimately after they pick up the Baron and everything. That was just a really well-played fight and reward for TOP.
What if you're XX? This is TOP in the driver's seat again in game 2. And Raz, who's relevant now? Loken is 3-1-3. Has picked up the Archangel stuff after the Muramana has been picked up and stacked, rather.
He's been given the time. It's really nice for him to be able to play this one out slowly. That being said, Xiaohu is your real focus on RNG. If there's a way for them to come back, it's because Xiaohu's flanks are still relevant. Still something you have to be afraid of. It's just really worrying that if he does go that, one of the greatest counters towards an Akali is a Galio. And the Galio is there from TOP, where Ben can just channel taunt and try and disrupt him.
Alright, so TOP need to mitigate what Ming does versus Ben. Redemption, yes, picked up. No first item really from Ming there, apart from the support item. Top turret is going to go down from Knight. Hang on.
They're ready for it.
Flash. They find one, two-man pulverized caster. Splits the fight. Uzi gets the Fate's Call. They need 369 to drop down. The hero's entrance doesn't keep him alive. Cataclysm on the back end. Uzi's hopping everywhere. He does get ignited. He does drop down. XX drops as well. Watch for Xiao in the middle of the smoke screen. Deletes. And goodbye, Loken. And goodbye, Ben. Next on the menu, as Amazing J looks for the challenge, just as punch interrupted, and Amazing J gets the kill. Never count RNG out.
Perfect execution from Xiaohu, not through just his ultimate, but how he actually played this one out. I was really worried about Amazing J because when the fight started on the outset, Karsa's ultimate really messed up Amazing J's. You couldn't get the Fear Beyond Death because it whiffed right in between the wickets. I would love to see a replay just on that one, just a 2-second one, and being like, Karsa uses his ultimate. Amazing J misses. You're like, oh no, how are they going to be able to make it out? So that's how it really starts out, because the headbutt pulverize was wonderful, but then boom, right here. Really tough to see that happen. And so Amazing J's effectiveness is through his just passive bullet knees that he can get across. I just love the fact that the moment they killed out Uzi, I was like, all right, the damage threats are done. But it's now hard for a LeBlanc to play this out without much HP. And so Xiaohu's able to play this one out slowly, get the HP back with the sustain that he has on the queue.
Not just able to play through Uzi, but playing through Xiaohu as well. RNG have different win conditions this game, and Xiaohu shows that 6-2 and 4. It's not the Uzi show here. He's been killed every single fight, and although he did do a bit of damage that time around, it was Xiaohu who gets the perfect execution onto Loken to win RNG that fight and get that gold gap to a measly 2,000.
And whenever you see something get damage in last team fight, for an assassin to do that much really goes to show like how much damage Loken in particular took from him. Kali's a real devil to deal with. I don't know how they can contest for this one though, they're trying.
RNG may have locked down Ben. The Dragon goes over to TOP, forcing one flash. That's from the Galio. And that's what the cost of the Ocean is. Double Infernal plus this Dragon they now picked up. It's going to be useful around Baron.
The fact that the squishiest number, you're right, has no flash on this one, Ben's going to be an easy target. If he goes in and helps out and engage, he ain't coming back out. So you have to be all in if you're TOP.
1 minute 25. The flash is not going to even be close, but Redemption will be. TOP going towards this bottom side. This is very adventurous considering the wards that have been placed down by RNG.
Full clear here, taking full command of this side. Really just allowing 369 to push this one up. But they have the mid lane push at the same time. I just think it's taking advantage. Ooh!
Oh my, everything lands on the Karsa. He's out. That's Steric's Gage procced as well.
Yeah, easy. They're just taking advantage of the fact that Urgot was clearing topside. This should be a free tower knowing that two members are nowhere near it.
Wave coming in, Ming, the flank, it's crucial here that Ben spots him out and makes sure he can't get anywhere near. The smoke screen from Xiaohu helps as well, but the turret eventually goes down and RNG just back away.
Yeah, they need to look towards the next objective, which, I mean, all inner towers are down, really. So the only thing that you can really hope for is the next Baron. All members are basing on the side of TOP, so from that point of view, they're going to be the ones coming back onto the map and trying to clear out vision.
RNG were pinging drastically to get towards that brush first before TOP come back, and you can see that now they're able to push in, considering
I don't like this.
That TOP are looking to reposition.
You're muddling the waters here if you're Karsa.
Does get chained down as well. Here comes a re-engage. Karsa gonna take it! Okay! The mid laner gone! Rather the jungle for RNG. From the mid laner, true shot barrage. Galio takes down Xiaohu as well. The hero's entrance now down. TOP get hand delivered. Some fresh fried chicken from KFC. Uzi cleanses away. Goes golden. We need Amazing J to clean this fight up. But Uzi, Ming, all down. Amazing J's next. And look at TOP, 4 survive.
Clean as all hell. And it starts with Knight on that assassination. Karsa didn't even use his ultimate. He didn't think it was enough damage. He thinks he can play it out for his team to come up. I said muddling the waters. Why are you doing blue buff when your primary focus is vision around Baron? You know TOP are going to be on the map to contest it. Don't do that when you don't have the members, and now they're paying for it.
RNG may have sacrificed the series. They may have sacrificed close to the game. Baron goes down for the second time. Or if not, I'm absolutely forgetful. It doesn't matter. 28 minutes in. That's a gold lead firmly in TOP's hands.
It's huge. It's massive. Just take a look at this in slow motion. This one's fine, but the next chain, along with this Q proc, extra damage there. Of course it's going to kill. Xin Zhao way too squishy at this point as well. So the fight on the outset is his poor positioning that Uzi can't find a way out in. This is the worst position for a Kalista to really kite back from, where there are enemies on all fronts. It's going to be Knight coming in from the left, and from the bottom side you see Ezreal really inching in as well. So it's really difficult for a Kalista really to play that fight out. That was just them making up for the mistake that Karsa made.
And the issue is the Xiao just gets bursted out by Knight. The new issue is that Uzi is just falling off here as well, and Loken is just getting to the point where he's going to be doing 100-0 on pretty much everyone. With almost Blade of the Ruin King finish, mid lane Tara drops down in front of the inhibitor, and soon the inhibitor afterwards. TOP are showing us that the new blood, or rather the unexpected blood, is taking over the old guard.
It's the shocking damage that right now Knight's doing. Because you're right, across the board, 369, XX, Knight, all these players are doing well right now. And Loken is able to slowly come back into the game. Now has both of his tiers fully stacked up. Muramana and Seraph's Embrace locked down. He is threatening. But the real story for me is Knight, Rabadon's Deathcap, Ludens, he has all of his damage ready. And he is dishing.
Doesn't look like he's falling off anytime soon. Fourth item rather, will come soon as well. Waiting for that Majaj just to be cheeky. Ming might have to pop the ulti. Survive! Please. Never mind! Knight flushes out, that's the pick. The mid laner, will he die though? Knight survives with the help of redemption. Perfect execution from Xiaohu. Other mid laner of RNG alive, with Uzi getting popped out for 369. Takes down Karsa. This could be the game-winning fight. TOP on the verge. It's 369 again, and RNG, this could be it.
And Ben is just tracking him. There is no way Xiaohu will come back to base in time. That's it.
Uzi gonna be the last to drop, and with that, a legacy of RNG. They looked great against EDG, but TOP stand strong and define their legacy here in the LPL spring. 2-0 over the MSI champions.
What heroes at the end of the day? Across the board. It feels so good to be in such a competitive matchup. You can see it in their faces. Whenever a team fight came across, there was no telling who could keep the lead with how well they've both been playing it out. And it makes a lot of sense. If we're just talking about individual players, 369 made his mark. You had a lot of questions about whether he could be the best. And that question's still out there because the Shy is still rolling around. He still took your name. But Amazing J has been wiped clean by this man. And so from the solo lanes alone, Knight and 369 style.
I'll even go a step further. I'll talk a little bit about Loken. Loken and Ben. Because coming into this matchup, it was, you know, Uzi versus Loken. It was the bottom lane that had a lot of focus just because of how skilled we knew each individual laner was. On top of that, the bottom lane. I'm curious now how Loken goes forward and the hype around him, how it builds up.
I think this is when people will look towards how Loken played out team fights. Because remember, he was so far behind this game, not of his own doing, but because of how a lot of it was, he was being traded away for topside. And that's fine. He played the team role. He said, okay, I'm getting dope here. I'll do my best, but Akali's really putting an elbow on me. But then he was given the chance to slowly come back into the game. And you see in the later game team fights, he was effective. He was constantly finding ways to help out and look for the back line. He is still not, for me, with how, like, the way this series played out, the most influential member. To me, the most influential member is Knight, is 369. These guys were stacked. There's not a lot of players throughout the LPL that you can say you can comfortably put Jason and say that throughout the full 30 minutes, they will play discipline. It's this team that you give that faith to.
369, Knight, yeah, you're right. Loken in this series was not influential, and it's just kind of ironic that we hyped up Uzi and Loken. So taking another look at Knight versus Xiaohu in that Akali versus LeBlanc matchup. LeBlanc looks good.
Look, he smashed the LeBlanc. Like, in terms of last game, he did so well in the Rise matchup.
True.
And then coming into this game, he first picks LeBlanc. He didn't wait until he was waiting. First pick. I'm gonna take that away from you. And then not only he recognized that, yeah, he's going to have a great early game matchup into the Akali, but the game went around pretty long. It went 20 minutes. It's a pretty thick game. And for that game to come across and you have the Akali versus LeBlanc, there were some chains. If you go back to game 1 and saw how Xiaohu played it out, sure, he got outscaled in that respect, right, against a very chunky lineup.
Yep.
But there were certain moments where he just missed chains. That just happened, where he could have been able to push the Alistar back to base or got the kill, but he missed a chain on that one. And I'm saying there are moments that you expect that out of any player to miss a chain or two. I didn't see it from Knight.
He didn't miss.
he legitimately played a perfect game throughout.
This is a good example.
This one was a poor decision from Karsa. I said don't muddle the play if your focus is around Baron. But that was beautiful. If you hit the first chain, you're going to hit the second one. That's how it happens. Throughout the series, he found those iconic pickups to get his team back into it. The first one were the Rise pickup on the Elder Dragon, and in this play, the only reason they won back this was through that pick. Now, that being said, like, RNG were rushing to Baron on desperation, right? So if you're going on desperation, recognizing that TOP is all heading back to base, great. Run on the map, get your controllers down, position for either a rush on Baron, or you're just waiting and staking out for a pick. But if you're saying, oh, there's a blue buff here. It's like, oh, that's nice. It's
like, stop.
So, like, that's what really for me, those decisions really will weigh on you. But it's those small mistakes that Knight constantly picks up on and, like, really turns them into massive opportunities. So, it's nighttime, baby. Like, I know I'm going to go to sleep fairly soon. Night, it seems like. Like, Xin Zhao went to sleep pretty often in this one.
Pretty quickly, yeah.
I think this is so hyped to see that TOP, when they got their second chance, their first chance was the opening when they went up against Invictus Gaming, and from that point forward, they stomped team after team because those were teams that we expected them to beat. This was a big week for them, being able to take down both JD and Beijing's best, basically.
That's right.
And RNG. And it felt like both of those teams, they threw as good as they can. They threw their fists at them, but they were ducking and dodging.
And with the way things are going, you then say, all right, cool. You've taken down JD. You've taken down RNG. RNG right now seem to be, you know, one of the best. Considering IG are not performing well, still getting back on their feet.
To what is a first place team now? We got to relax now when we're saying not performing well to their own standards, I would say.
Yeah.
There are a lot of great teams right now in the league.
Bloody great.
And I would say, like, right now, top 2 teams for me, just based off of current performances, I would say is, wow. I would say TOP, RNG, and I added a new team, Invictus Gaming. So I'm going to add 3 because I think it's so hard to rate all 3 of them in unison. I think EDG deserves to be there based off of their most recent 2 performances.
True.
But based off of how teams are, like, the rate of growth that's coming through, I want to wait a little bit before I really give EDG that just dues because they had 2 really good series, 1 loss against RNG and 1 major win versus Suning. But with how EDG usually fares, I want to see another win that, or at least not just a win, but I want to see a strong performance before I can call them a top 3 team.
TOP have had this ramping up feeling towards their schedule so far. We're into week number 5, almost into week number 6.
Yeah. And
like,
this makes me feel bad that I just didn't mention FPX. That's how crazy we are in the LPL. FPX deserves to be mentioned. I think that we just need to see FPX go up against these teams to truly be tested right now.
That's right. They're 6-0, and that is a great way to finish off for today, or at least for our super week, our super day. What do we call it? Nothing.
Nothing.
we do 3 series days tomorrow as well, back with the English broadcast. But at the moment, FPX the only undefeated team, but TOP are like 5-1 right now, right? Like they're insane.
Look, I know this is your first year in the LPL. You got to get used to these tough 3 series days. And on top of that, you got to get used to the topsy-turvy nature of the LPL and Spring Split.
That's true.
Where a lot of teams are growing right now, and a lot of teams still have to showcase what they've got.
I want to see more of a player like 369, who is our MVP. Got carried away. Bring him up. Let's go. What a legend. And boy, oh boy, did this chase look great.
It really did. I think this was a great performance. Remember, last game I was like, I'd give it to Loken if we're talking about the full 30 minutes, the length of the game. I would give it to 369 if I was giving the full length of the game. It was once again a great discussion of, like, full length of the game. Man, 369 put a heart on Amazing J and on the map. And if we're talking about moments, once again, Knight just had some great moments in these team fights that he outplayed with. So I'm glad that 369 got his just dues there.
Not only game 1, but game 2 as well for 369. Like, that was impactful. For TOP, again, 5-1, by the way. I'm pretty sure I got this right, because TOP should be sitting 2nd or 3rd in the standings right now, next to FPX. There they are. Happy
Boom.
days. Above Invictus Gaming, fun fact.
So 5-series win streak is what you want to look at, because the first loss was, of course, to Invictus Gaming, first series of the split. So the fact that they are now at the top, and you're looking towards Suning that are 4th place right now, and on a 3-series losing streak is huge.
I would also say that at the moment, considering that Invictus Gaming have played 7 games, we'll see how that goes. I'll take back what I said before, Raz, that Invictus Gaming got strong.
Thank
you.
Gotta relax
just
now.
Full of it.
You gotta calm down.
Everyone just likes upsets.
Everybody loves upsets. The moment the Kings get upset, you're like, they're not good anymore. Put it on put it on every milk jug out there.
LGD,
IG, bad. LGD, Kings.
Well, we'll see what happens. Tomorrow we'll be back with the English broadcast of the LPL as well. That's going to be a bit of a doozy. Raz is going to be, I don't know what's going on. But tomorrow the English broadcast is back. When I point at you, yeah, all right. You
JDG versus OMG. That one is going to be real slick to watch, just because JDG wants to come back up. Remember, if we're talking about top lane talent, Ale on OMG is going to be great to see if he can start out in this split as well.
Especially since we saw Xiang in the last game as well, so see what OMG do. BLG taking on Sino Dragon. For me, the curiosity is where BLG actually sit at the moment. Because Sino Dragon, we know we took the loss, and we're like, okay, where do they sit? But I'm more concerned about BLG.
Yeah, BLG have great talent in Kuro, and I think where they tend to drop off is like the discussion between ADD and Meteor, and consistency just not being there. The most creative composition I got to see was, of course, versus Snake, where they had the Aurelion Sol, Cassiopeia.
Oh, yeah.
That was real fun, and it really took Snake by surprise. If we get a little bit more of that, that's cool to see. But also what they sorely need is not that Band-Aid, but more so just players like Meteor and ADD being consistent. Because they have some great moments, and that's why they pick up wins in these 3-game series. But a lot of times, then you could see ADD getting solo killed, or Meteor just making the same decision that we got to see Carson make at the end of the game, right? And except for the entire game. So, like, that's why with those two, well, Meteor, the young one, and ADD, who's just inconsistent, like, those members need to stand up if they want to take down SDG.
Especially ADD at the moment. Like, there's a lot going around. I need you all to settle down. Big thank you to Raz for the end of the show, as well as our production team. RNG TOP, like, that's a great way to end the Saturday. We'll be back tomorrow with English broadcast coming up same time for our Super Day. But until then, it's goodbye for now, but not forever.